Hello there, I'm Dennis. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about some configuration files in Gentoo Linux. One of which is the modem manager. If the modem manager is not present, if you don't have a modem manager card, I'm assuming, then it's going to throw an error. And sometimes it'll actually, during the boot process, it'll actually hang up right there. And until you press enter and go on to log in, it'll just sit there. Other times, other instances, it'll actually just show the error, but it'll continue to boot in that process. And that seems to happen on VirtualBox as well as in real hardware. And we're talking the modem manager here. And also we're going to look at display managers for the XFCE desktop. You've got a couple of choices now. In Gentoo, we don't have the lightdm-gtk-greeter settings, but there is an alternative. It's, in my opinion, it's not as it's just not graphical. You have to do some configuration files, and so let's get started on that. All right, so talking about display managers, first of all, this is the link showing what's available as far as your, in fact, it says right here, it's display manager, sometimes known as login manager. So whatever you prefer to call it. We got CDM, GNOME GDM, GreetD, which I haven't heard of that one yet. Only supports in Wayland. LightDM, which has only support in Xorg. LightDM, or LXDM, Quingy, and SDDM, Slim, WDM, and XDM. And SDM will work on X as well as Wayland. So, that may be an option that you want to check out. And here's the other links to those. And, I'll make sure these get in the show notes below. It tells you use flags and how to install it, a little bit about the configuration, what have you. Here is the actual package. And here is for the mini greeter, as well as GitHub page that goes through the greeter a little bit with you and shows you how to use it on. It's not just for Gentoo. It works in Debian, I think I said. Let's see. Yeah, Debian, Gentoo, Arch. It not only works on Gentoo, it works in other software as well. Let me minimize this. Okay, so I'm going to bring up my VirtualBox. I've got it set up in BIOS mode and UEFI mode. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone these so that I can keep my default system as default as possible. And I'm going to do the same thing with UEFI. I'm going to clone it. Okay, so let's start with the BIOS version. Let's start that up. Again, this is the clone. That way I can keep my default installation as default as possible. Try something on a clone before I try it on the default installation. Alright, so temporarily at least pull this over in the middle. And we'll see it error out on the modem manager right there. Look up, it's finished. It says modem manager couldn't check support for sys devices, PC, etc. It's not supported by any plugin. Now, sometimes it will hang right there until you, like I said, you press enter, but sometimes it won't, and it just seems to be a hit and miss thing. So let me go ahead and log in. StartX, if I can find it. There it is. All right. See how quick that was. All right. So for the modem manager, let's bring up a terminal. Go to my applications. Bring up a terminal. Might as well just sign in as root. Get that over with. We'll slide this over a little bit so I got room for my notes. Bring up my notes. Now that file, I'm going to actually just bring up Thunar, the file manager, so we can do this graphically. And go to the file system. And it says it's in user share dbus. User share dbus1. Yep, dbus1. System services. And the modem manager. Right here it is. I found the article and it said that I could just delete this, and I said I'm not going to delete it until I know it works. But what I've done and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut it. And I'm just going to go back up here. Let's put it in my documents and paste it. All right, now let's go back. And you can see now the modem manager is not in the startup services. So let's reboot. And that error should disappear. Yep, no mention of it. Gone. Now the reason why I saved it is because I want to make sure there's nothing wrong with my system before I permanently delete it. If it hadn't have rebooted, and I couldn't get into my system, I would have still had that on the system, so I could have went in the system, cherooted or something into the system, and copied that back where it needed to be, and then I should have been back up to normal. So that's what I do. You can get away with just deleting it if you want to. Also on a web page here, I found where you could just run a emerge-C modem manager and make another configuration here and put it in the package provided file directory. But if you look up the C in the man emerge page, it says -C. This action can remove important packages, removes all matching packages following a counter governed by a clean delay. This does no checking of dependency, so it may remove packages necessary for the proper operation of your system. Its arguments can be atoms, ebuilds. For dependency-aware version of the unmerge, use dep-clean or prune. For a version with clean delay 0, use rage clean. So I elected not to run that because I didn't know what, and I still don't know what it may or may not delete. I just found it easier to cut and put that somewhere else and save it and then try it. So that worked. So if that modem manager is driving you crazy like it did me, all right. Let's go into lightdm here. Now there's the web links. I'll make sure those get in there. And it says here we're going to need some packages. So let's open up a terminal. And this is in the BIOS version. Sign back in as root. And we're going to need emerge -- quiet. We're going to need X11. See if I got that spelled right. DM. I believe so. Let's go ahead and press enter. Get that stuff installed. So by running the quiet command, you can see the stages that it's running through. There's 4 stages here that it's going to run through to install lightdm. And then if I got it spelled right here, lightdm-gtk-greeter. Or you could just say ask verbose, and you could just see the packages as they're compiling. Some people like that. I do too sometimes. It's just easier for me to tell how far along it is by using the quiet command. All right, so I'm going to scroll up here. We got the packages installing. Next, we're going to edit our display-manager file. First thing we got to do is tell the system to recognize that it does have a greeter. Okay, so that's installed. It's telling you if it fails to launch. That's for NVIDIA cards, I think. Yeah, NVIDIA GPUs. Let me clear that screen. Let me make this a little bit bigger, maybe. Yeah. All right, so now we're going to go and we're going to go down and change the XDM, X Display Manager, to lightdm. All right, once you got that in there, I'm going to Control O, Enter, Control X. All right, now we got to update the display manager to load at boot as default. So that would be RC update add at default run level. Dyslexia, I tell you. Update. All right, now that's added to the default run level. Now we got one more here. We need to go into conf.d xdm, and in here we're going to add all caps display equals in double quotes lightdm. Display manager, all one word, all in caps, equals lightdm. Control O, enter, Control X. All right. Now, if you followed the wiki or handbook to install, you may or may not have this file. I personally don't use that no more. But anyway, we're going to add dbus launch -launch. And it's already got startx FC4. So that's good to go. We'll Control O, enter, Control X. All right. Now here we're going, this is where the configuration is. Let's reboot first. And if we got it right, we'll be like signing in with lightdm. Or if I got it right. That's looking good. Nice. I absolutely love this grub screen right here. Okay, I want to show you this. You see what I just did? We got on this loop thing. And I tried it 4 or 5 times before I finally tried something else. Here it is. Go up here to this little wrench, click on that, and select XFCE session. This is the very reason why I'm showing this. Because I did the same thing. And there we go. Now we got our lightdm-greeter set up. We can get the screen size right. We can get to a menu, go to terminal. And let's see. Here is where the configuration files are going to be. So let's go sudo nano etc lightdm lightdm.conf. Now you can go in here and you can do a lot of stuff in this one configuration file. To me, the problem is it's just a lot of stuff. And you can do, for instance, you can actually disable your automatic login right here, or disable login or enable automatic login. You can see right here, session wrapper, etc lightdm-x session. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can do just from in here. But like I said, it's pretty granular and know what you're doing. So I haven't done anything, so I'm just going to Control X to get out of there. And that's it. If you do have a problem not launching it, go back into your lightdm.conf file and add this login d-check-graphical equals false. That should help if you have an NVIDIA card. All right. So there is another alternative. Let's power this off. And again, that's the BIOS. Go back up here to the UEFI clone. Now see, by doing the clone, now this is, I know that the system works. I can actually put it on my default installation if I choose. Personally, I like using startx, and the very reason is how I started the video off talking about Modem Manager. You get to see, without doing any searching in the log files or anything, you get to see firsthand what's happening. So let's get this started. UEFI. UEFI clone. And we're going to see the same modem manager problem right here. Now there you go. See, that time it hung up. I said sometimes it will and sometimes it won't. And that's true on real hardware as well. Some of my computers, when it installed, it would hang up until it required user intervention. So I'm going to just press enter here, and that'll get me back into my login screen. All right, now let's see. I should be able to start X. Let's scoot this over here. Now this one, I haven't done a lot to it, but I did do some configuration. I still got the application menu. Not a lot. I just basically took the wallpaper out of it. So here though, if we install it, we're going to need lightdm, but we're going to also get lightdm-mini-greeter. So let's go. We sign in as root. Now we can say merge -- quiet, and that's X11 MISC lightdm. Mini greeter. Looks right. Press enter. Install these. Let's install this software. Now here we're still going to have to do some configuring. Pretty much the same stuff, and you'll see where one of the major differences is. Fixing will be working on our mini greeter. Nice. Looking at masked. I hadn't seen this before. Let's see. Mini greeter, one of the five have been masked. AMD keyword. Okay. Let's go find it. Put it in there. So we know that's under file system. Etsy. Portage. And accept keywords. We're going to create a empty file. Call it AMD 64. Create it. Let's open it up with mousepad. And let's copy. The software that it's saying that it needs this. Why isn't that paste? Wow, that was more complicated than it needed to be. Title, AMD 64. Close it out, save the file, do it again. And that was on the greeter, so I should be able to just bring this back up, back this out. Let's try it again. Yep. In my system, I created an alias, and I do it, things like this through Thunar, basically. There we go. So now let's go to clear the screen. Nano, Etsy, conf.d, conf.d, display manager. Same thing we did a while ago. We're going to remove XDM and add lightdm. Control O, enter, Control X. All right. Now we got to add, let's check that dbus. Let's go RC, update. Now this should be running already. Did this during the installation, but it won't hurt. It's already running good. Okay, so RC update, add display -manager, default. There we go. Now, let's go ahead and reboot, and then we'll go into the config. See if it'll hang up on the modem manager this time. Nope, that's what I'm saying. All right, same thing here. You're going to go up here and make sure you got XFCE sessions selected. Type in your password and log in. Nice. Okay, make that a little bigger maybe. Not that big. All right, so configuration files. The global configuration file is in the Etsy lightdm-lightdm.conf that we just looked at, and I said it was real granular. I showed you it had a ton of settings in there. But lightdm-mini-greeter also has some more options. Sudo nano Etsy lightdm lightdm-gtk-greeter.conf. That's right. Now, man, that's way big. Zoom out. Bring that over here. We can all see it. Now, see how simple this is? There's only just a few options to change. But you can change the things that are important, like, for instance, the background. If you wanted to change that grub screen that we're seeing that when we're boot in, or like the M screen you see when we're boot in, right here, you just put in the path. There it is. Wanted to change the theme. Adwaita right now is by default, etc. The icons, cursor, font, all of it. Most everything you can do in the greeter settings, lightdm-gtk-greeter-settings in other XFCEs is just about as great. And using the graphical interface, this is just about the kind of stuff that you can do in that. Now, it does have a few other things that you can do there, but not much. So I haven't changed anything. Let me get out of here. Might as well just close that out. And that's going to do it. I personally use startx. And I'll make sure these links get in the description. I'll make sure my notes get in the description. I'm going to power this off. Let's see here. Shut that down. I'll be taking that and deleting these two because I still got my base, and I know both pieces of software that I just tried work without flaws. So I will just delete the clone and add that to my regular configuration. So yep, save that. And that's going to do it for this video. I hope this helps. The modem manager thing was just enough to make me crazy. I hate to see errors while it's in the post. I don't like seeing that. If I can find out what it is and get rid of it safely, I will. lightdm, the display manager, I don't have it installed on this machine nor my other Gentoo main machine. So I don't use it. I like it, but I like seeing any errors that might pop up. I like seeing the post screen, see what's happening. Anyway, thanks for watching. Good luck. Bye.